let's get some more reaction and analysis of the guilty verdict handed down to Donald Trump. Let's go live to US Attorney Raschel Fiset. Raschel, thanks for your time. Talk us through the implications of this decision and how likely is it, can I start with this question, how likely is it that Donald Trump ends up behind bars?
It's a good question, and the judge has a lot of discretion in this case. Prosecutors will likely argue that he should end up in prison for up to 4 years. Each of the 34 counts that Donald Trump was convicted of hold a maximum sentence of 4 years with a 20-year cap overall. So it is possible that he wind up in prison. It is even fairly likely, given the fact that it was 34 counts of 34 felonies. I don't think it's likely he ends up in prison for 4 years, and Trump will certainly be appealing his sentence and the trial and everything in between. But I believe that the judge will take into consideration a multitude of factors, considering the severity of the crimes that he was accused of.
The judge said during the case on a number of occasions that the last thing he wanted to do was to put Trump in jail, given who he is, a former president, a candidate again for the presidency. So the judge did note that. However, he also did hold Mr. Trump in contempt of the court on a number of occasions. So there's a few countervailing forces there.
There are a lot of countervailing forces. When there are decisions made regarding sentencing, there are sentencing factors. One factor in Trump's that will help Trump determining his sentence is that he's a first-time offender. So that's a pretty big deal in the U.S. is if you're a first-time offender, that counts for you. That gives you a lot of goodwill with the court, if you will. However, given these crimes were pretty severe in that it helped him get elected. It's that election interference issue that I think may weigh or tip the scales in favor of some prison time. The prosecutors will be arguing heavily for prison time, but again, it's unlikely to be up to 4 years. And if there is any time, it would probably land around a year. But he could also just be sentenced to probation and spend a period of time under the eyes of the law and serving out his probation with a right to travel and things like that.
Extraordinary situation. It is a first in the United States. I know many experts are trying to grapple with it, let alone commentators and members of the public. However, I did speak to one constitutional expert last hour who made the point to me that Donald Trump won't be able to vote at the upcoming election, being a felon, but he can serve as president.
So there are specific states that don't allow felons to vote. And where Trump resides in Florida, they actually just recently now allow felons to vote, but you have to have served your sentence if there is an incarceration as part of your sentence. So whether he'll be able to vote for himself in Florida is yet to be determined.